Welcome to the Skin Philosophy Edit. Today we're with Nella, who is with the Holistic Skin Clinic. She's set up her own skin clinic and has also become a massive hit on Instagram as well. Done really well considering it's less than a year of going. So well done. Thank you for coming, Nella.
Well, thank you so much for having me here.
So I wanted to just get, for everyone, to give an idea about everyone, where you started from, like how you got into this industry, what you were doing before. So tell us a bit about your past, how you ended up doing this.
Yes, absolutely. So I was working my 9 to 5. I was working an office job before. So I did a degree in biochemistry and then started sort of, I was a program coordinator, then I worked in facilities and operations for a little bit. And even though I worked with really amazing people, the whole time, like my friends would tell you, I was just like, I really want to be working with my hands. Like I'm not enjoying sitting in front of a screen. I need to be working with my hands. And then at the same time, I really started getting into skincare because when I was at uni, my skin just became terrible. I really wasn't looking after it. I got when I was like 21, I was getting like deep lines and wrinkles. Like my skin was aging really prematurely. So I really started to get into healing my skin. So this was all happening around about the same time, and I was away on holiday in Dubrovnik, and I remember I was just sort of like looking into the ocean and I sort of had an aha moment. I was like, I love skincare, I want to work with my hands. And I like put 2 and 2 together. I was like, I know what I need to do.
And that's a very nice moment. Looking into the
exactly. It was literally like a movie, and I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. And that's when I sort of got back from the holiday, Googling like crazy, and that's when I found Skin Philosophy because it just looked perfect. It was like everything that I needed. It was all remote learning because I was working 5 days a week at the time. I needed that as well, and that's when I sort of like applied onto the course. But then I had it for a while and didn't start actually doing it properly until like 6 months ago, around about then. Yeah.
So basically you joined the course, and so I've been looking at you. First of all, your avenue that you went down was focusing on the holistic side, which I love, especially like the face massages. Why did you decide to go that route?
So it started off as like, because that's what worked for me personally. Like I really tried lots of different types of skincare. I didn't really get many facials at the time, but nothing was really working for my skin. Like I'd sort of, I guess like my spots and breakouts and like blackheads and stuff like that, it helped with that, but like the sort of issues that were in the underlying deep tissues and the issues that were coming up from like stress, they weren't being addressed by just the products that I was using. So I sort of went on a quest to sort of find other methods, and I remember Googling at the time because I just felt, I was only like 21 at the time, and I like really started noticing like deep lines, and I was thinking, it's quite bad as well because you think it's the way it's wired in us thinking that, oh my gosh, if I'm 21 getting these lines, imagine, do you know what I mean?
Oh no, I completely understand. I was the exact same at 24. I was like, oh my gosh.
Exactly, which is awful because it's sort of like this narrative that like women just get worse with age, which is so not true. Like I've actually like reversed so many of those like wrinkles, and it's not true.
Yeah.
But I remember at the time and because I've suffered before with like body dysmorphia and like the slight imperfection on my face, like my friends would be like, I literally cannot notice a thing, and I'd be like, but look, it's there.
Yeah.
So I like became quite fixated on it. And I remember Googling at the time, like, what can I do? Like, I just don't want it to get so much worse. And the only thing that came up at the time was like, well, you need to get like Botox to like relax the muscle so that it doesn't pull your skin when you're like smiling or anything like that. And I actually remember at the time getting really, like my explore page on my Instagram was lots of like Botox before and afters, and I was really sort of like eyeing up the idea of like investing in it. And then I don't know, I was a bit on the edge with it because I was like, oh, but then I have to keep doing it, and it just didn't really align with me. So this was like quite a few years ago. And then I remember just coming across an article online about like face yoga and working with the muscles on your face, and I was like, oh, no, I'm just gonna give it a try. And like when I was doing my skincare routine, I'd like do it afterwards. I'd do like some neck exercises because you're meant to like work it all as a unit, and then I'd like go onto my face. And honestly, within 3 weeks, the lines when I smiled were like gone 70%.
Really?
It was crazy. It was really, really crazy and that's when I started to be like, oh my gosh, like why don't more people know about this?
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh, the lines on my face when I was 21, that's not because my skin was aging, it's not because I was like losing elasticity, but it's because the muscles pulled on my skin a certain way that, like, for example, like all around your eye where like crow's feet are, it's not permanent there. Like it's the ligament here where the eye muscle attaches, but all around here it's all just like fascia and like connective tissue, and it's just a web, and it doesn't need to pull the way that it does if you just train it.
Yeah.
It will pull different. So I was just like mind blown by all of this and started like practicing it regularly, and that's it was when I got results so quickly that I was like, oh my goodness, this stuff is really, really powerful. And then I started to look into like ancient Asian healing modalities like gua sha and cupping and these sort of stuff. I sort of thought before, do they really work? But I was like, no, I think I'm just going to give it a try. And over time, like over like a year and a half, when I like would compare before and after pictures, it was still the same person because I hadn't changed my features drastically, but I just noticed like such a change in like my complexion, such a change in like my fine lines and wrinkles, like puffiness that I always used to have just sort of disappeared.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, this is really, really powerful.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided then, even to start my Instagram page, I was like, I've got to let people know, like if there's other people that are like me that like feel a bit powerless when it comes to like things that they want to change, and they think the only route is to and I'm not like I'm not fear mongering with Botox, and I like if it works for you, then 100% go for it. But like there's people that it doesn't align with, but they don't feel like they have other options, and that's why I'm like, you have other options.
No, I do think there's going to be a major comeback with the working with the natural features, working with your natural muscles to like have an anti-aging effect. So going back to the gua sha and the cupping and everything like that, what did you find the difference using gua sha or using your hands? Like how do you find they're better or not, or what's the difference with the tools?
So I do have to say, I feel like with the holistic approach, it can sound a bit daunting being like you should be doing everything, because you don't need to. Like just massage on its own will give you amazing results, but because they're just such slow burners, I find that if you really want the best results, you sort of have to come at it from all angles, and that's when you really see transformative results. So like the cupping, for example, it does similar things to what the gua sha does, because it will like reduce your lymph, increase blood circulation, but it's just a little bit, the suction I think is just a little bit different in that it just increases that circulation even more, and it just brings everything to the surface, whereas the gua sha is amazing for like working with your own natural contours and just like shaping them. But also if you don't have the tools, I found that massage, just using your fingers, works incredibly, like a combination. So I am launching a face yoga course this month.
Amazing.
And thank you. And it's like, so the structure of what I say a face yoga routine should be is first sort of activating your lymph nodes and making sure that they're ready to suck up any of that lymph that you're about to that's been trapped and you're about to move. And then you sort of go in with facial exercises, and that's different from facial massage because it's like a mini workout for your face. You use like your fingers as resistance in different places in your face, and you do little like squats for your face basically. And then you finish up with facial massage, because sometimes the facial exercises can leave a bit of tension in your muscles, so you always want to finish with massage to just let that tension go. So that's what I find works the best for it.
Okay, amazing. I'm going to go on that. I probably won't do the movements because I'll forget, but I have all great intentions. So if we were, say, educating people who are listening about it, tell a little bit about SMAS layer, like how you're working with the muscles, because we do teach it in there, but when there's so much within like level 2 or that, it's not really like massage or the effects of muscles on your skin. Doesn't really come up as much. So how would you explain it?
Well, the way I like to explain it is that actually what's happening, so we have like our epidermis, which is a lot of where our products end up. Unless you have amazing actives, they're not really getting much further than your epidermis, and that's fine. That'll be great for like clearing up any like congestion or just like overall like increasing radiance and stuff like that. So I think products are very important, but when it comes to things like depuffing, things like fine lines and wrinkles, things like just a dull complexion, that is everything to do with what's underneath the top layer. And your muscles are a major part of that. So unlike anywhere in our body, which is, I find this absolutely fascinating, our facial muscles insert directly into our skin, and that doesn't happen anywhere else in our body. So if you work directly with the muscles, so like for example, lifting your cheek muscles by doing certain exercises, like a really easy one is just like curling your top and bottom lip. And smiling up, yeah. And so when you're working with your cheek muscles, when you lift up the muscle, because it's directly inserted into the skin, automatically you're giving your whole face a lift.
Okay.
So it's really interesting.
Yeah, yeah, it is very interesting with it. So going back, you mentioned earlier about the body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
So this is interesting because we tend to recognize it in clients.
Yeah.
But how did you recognize it in yourself? Like, how did you realize that, like, okay, maybe I'm being a bit too hard on myself?
I think it's just when you start, like with my skincare journey, I've been on a bit of like a spiritual journey as well, I think. And I think that just comes from being quite anxious growing up and having a really prominent anxious mind, and just one day like realizing that's actually not how I want to live my life, and there must be a way to quieten it. And it also started with like journaling and stuff like that. So I think it was just sort of like reflecting on myself and noticing that since I was young, there was something that I was fixated on, and then I'd sort of fix it. And it's not like my fixation would go away, it would just like morph into something else.
Okay.
Like I had a problem with my nose when I was younger, would like fixate, and then like when that was no longer a problem for me, I'd choose something else, you know.
Yeah.
And then I started realising, oh, it's not that I actually have
those
problems, it's
yeah.
that I'm just choosing something to fixate about.
Yeah.
And I think it's just about trusting other people. Like I've got from my friends and my family would be like, oh, you look gorgeous today, and instead of just like taking that compliment, I'd be like,
oh yeah.
Well, you haven't really seen me.
Yeah, you're lying. Stop lying to me.
Yeah, you're just saying that. Yeah. And it's like, I wouldn't just say it. Like, if I compliment my friends and my family, it's because they literally light up my eyes when I see them, because I think they look great. And I saw something interesting, actually. This is what really made me, I hadn't even considered that I had body dysmorphia. And I've definitely worked on it now. Like, now if I sort of see it creeping, and it definitely does, like, before my period comes, because that's when my estrogen is low and I know my like skin gets saggy, and that's when I tend to be like, oh, look at me. But like now I see it creeping, I'm like, stop it. Stop doing that.
Because that's interesting, that part, that stop it, because you think what you think is what you're like, you've no control over that, what you think, but actually what you're thinking, that shadow, is actually something you can quieten.
Absolutely.
And you're never told this. You're like, you think it's part of your brain, you're like, okay, that must be true because my brain is thinking
oh
it.
My goodness.
And you're like, actually no, that's just like all insecurities from childhood.
Absolutely.
And you're like, that's the devil on my shoulder stirring shit.
So the biggest revelation that literally changed my life is realising that I am not thinking my thoughts. They just come up, and I don't have to suddenly be like, oh yeah, maybe you're right. I can just be like, oh, that's a silly thought. Think about something else.
No, be quiet.
Yeah. Biggest revelation. It's so true. I really wish more people knew that. Like, you don't actually have to think that.
It's you find that it's you're trying to go, okay, there's a reason why I think that. Maybe my brain's being clever and catching on to something I haven't caught on to before, and it's actually no, he's trying to wind you up. He's trying to wind you up.
Absolutely.
Just leave it alone, goodbye. But it's a massive thing with it. But so you've now really done really well on Instagram.
Yes.
Building up. And I'm sure people would love to know like how you did that, like how the journey was, because a lot of people find it difficult. It's difficult to stay consistent, it's difficult to come up with ideas. So how did you crack the egg?
Oh goodness, I find it absolutely hilarious that I'm being asked on this, because if you'd have asked me a year ago, it was like the thought of plastering my face all over social media and just talking at a camera gave me the absolute ick. Like, it was horrible. So like, if there's people listening that are like, oh, I could never just like get in front of a camera and just talk, or like my ideas aren't good enough, or just anything like that, I just want people to know that I 100% understand, because I was so the same. Like, I'm naturally a really introverted person, so even though I wanted to sort of start this Instagram page, for the longest time I held myself back so much because of like the self-doubt and the thinking, oh my gosh, my friends from home are gonna like laugh at me.
Oh
because,
yeah, I 100% have that. Yeah,
yeah,
especially
like,
the mine being Irish.
Yeah.
They'd be like, what are you at?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, and everyone has it, and it's just the thought of like, I think the main thing that held me back is the thought of people that I didn't even care about. Like, I hadn't talked to them in so long, thinking like, oh, who does she think she is? Just like started a business and started an Instagram account, and that held me back for so long. And I don't know what happened one day. I was like, I'm actually fed up. Like, I have something that I want to share with the world, because if young, like early 20s me had seen somebody saying, look, you can heal your skin like this, and you need to work on stress, and these things are so important, that would have helped me so much. So it's selfish for me to like hold it in and not share it with other people. So I was just like, I'm just gonna start. I did a 30-day Instagram challenge, no expectations. I was like, for 30 days I'm gonna post every single day, and I don't care what's going on. I'm just, even if it's a rubbish one day because I only have half an hour, I'm just gonna post. And that's what I did. And it just, like, one of my reels, like, I was slowly getting quite a lot of like traction. One of my reels just went viral, and that's when I just got so many followers. And it just goes to show, like, just your intention and just doing it scared. I think that's the main thing, because I kept waiting for the perfect time. I kept being like, oh, I'm just gonna like work on myself like this, and then I won't be scared, and then I'll start it. And like, oh no, I'm just gonna do this, and then I won't be scared. And it's like that, the fear will never go away. Like, I still get anxious when I post a reel, because I'm like, oh, like what if people think it's awful and whatnot. And then it's just about doing it scared, and you'll be surprised that it actually, things always go better than what your anxious mind tells you that they'll go.
Yeah, they're trying to tell you the worst to scare you. So why do you think that reel specifically?
I honestly don't know. So I've heard quite a few people say, so it was one that I didn't put much thought, energy, or effort into. So it really confused me for ages afterwards.
Yeah.
And I was like, why this one? So I don't think it was, I have no idea. Like, there's some that I literally thought they were like masterpieces, and I put all of my energy into them, and like they got like 30 views, and then this one that I just did in like a few minutes just like blew up. So I don't know what the science is there. I think probably stop caring so much, because it'll do better.
Maybe be natural. Like it could be just algorithm, it could be consistency of like a few posts, and then one that's, you know, gets shown more, and then it picks up once you have like a little bit extra shown. I do think Instagram really looks on, social media really looks on if you're a person putting your personality out there, no matter what type of brand you are that you're putting on face. And I think you doing face to do with skin and facial muscles and everything like that, anti-aging, is like key at the moment. It's huge.
Absolutely. And I do think though, one thing that I wasn't prepared for when I started my Instagram, and I sort of feel like I've heard a lot of people say it before, but I think I wasn't prepared for, even though I've got overwhelming amount of like positivity and like positive comments, there was a time where I just stopped posting for a while, because I just got quite a few negative comments as well.
Oh, I'd absolutely break.
No.
I wouldn't be,
Don't.
I'd be like, no, that's it, I give up,
well, I'm not doing this ever again. But like, that's one thing that you really do have to prepare yourself for.
Gosh.
And I've just realised, so I obviously at first took it really personally. I was like, oh my goodness, I shouldn't be doing this, and they're right. Like, I had a few comments of people being like, why don't you just let people age naturally? And I was just like, are they right? Am I being like really anti people aging? Am I like being really toxic for young girls? And like it really just got in my head, like just a few negative comments like that, which I wasn't prepared for, I have to say. But like now I know that they're going to come. You can't, it's inevitable. Like sometimes I see a video on Instagram and I'm like, this is the most amazing, heartwarming video I've ever seen, and then I'll click on the comment section and there will always be a negative comment, and I'm just like, how did you even get that angle?
I don't get it. It's just sad that the world can be so angry for no reason. And it's like you're out here trying to like give information, and you know there's no need for you to give that information, because what you can do is just have clients, them come, and you don't have to teach the world. But it's just that negativity, and it is part and parcel of it, but it's very hard to take.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I was so not prepared for it. But then I did see something really beautiful the other day that said the more light that you shine, the more shadows you'll cast. Which is so true. Like, if you put yourself out there, there's always going to be people that are triggered by you, that are triggered by what you're saying, and it's just about sort of processing it myself, that that's not my responsibility. I don't have to make everyone happy, because that's not possible.
You can't control how other people feel about you. You just have to do your own thing. The clinic is pretty new. And you're only building up the clientele. So how are you getting on with that? How are you getting on with the setup for the clinic, deciding products you use, everything?
It's so early days. I'm very much still doing everything. Like my clientele at the moment is very much still friends and family. And I've sort of found the perfect space, and you think, when I found it, I was like, oh great, I'm just going to move in and start. Like, there's just so much like red tape involved with like just checking with the council and doing special application forms to be able to do massage or special therapy with the council, and then getting an advert in a newspaper to see if anybody has an issue with you starting there. So like everything has just been delayed.
So you're the second person who's told me this. In Essex, the council have issues. You have to get special permission if you're doing massage.
No, so the space that I have is in the borough of Hackney.
Okay.
And so I hadn't even thought about it. I was like, great, I'm just going to start the lease in the space that I like. Already got like my bed and everything. I was like, I'm going to put the treatment bed in and start, and like, and I sort of know what products that I want. But then having a bit of a Google, I was like, oh my goodness, I need to actually ask the council for permission, which I didn't realise was a thing. So I've had to like do an application form. I've had to put a site notice up, where it literally says like Holistic Skin Clinic is looking to start giving holistic facials here. If anybody has any objections, please contact within 28 days. You have to put a notice up in the local newspaper saying the same thing, and then you have to wait for like 6 weeks to see if anybody does have a problem and does contact. So there's just, I think these little bureaucracy type of things, that was what I just wasn't prepared for at all.
Yeah, because so basically, I know Westminster Council, they've always been, you have to have special licence, whether it's massage or facial or anything like that. But people are doing injectables in Hackney, in Essex, and these councils are going, you need to say about massage, but will ignore the injectables.
Yeah,
It's crazy. Confusing. So like, sorry about rubbing down someone, you have to be careful with that, but like, God knows who can go and inject God knows what into people.
It's scary when you think about it. It's really petrifying.
But it's ridiculous. The councils are asking you to put up a notice.
Absolutely.
And not worried about someone else down the road.
It really doesn't make sense. Like, you'd think, I don't really understand I'm sure there is a reason. But I just want to like get people in a sanctuary and heal them with my hands. Like, I don't want to be causing any harm. But so it's very early days with that, and I am, like I said earlier, I'm launching my face yoga course this month. So I'm still sort of like editing, putting the videos together. So I'm hoping to. I've been wanting to do it for so long, and I've finally just been like sit down and record the videos. So that's exciting. It's going to be like a 6-week Guided, every single day you get a guided video, all less than 10 minutes, and then hopefully you just learn everything that you need to know when it comes to face yoga and working out your muscles and massaging them properly.
Yeah.
And then I just think it's so empowering because once you've done the course, you have that tool forever.
Yeah.
Like you literally.
Oh no, it's amazing. Really good.
Yeah.
Really good. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that want to do it. Okay, so to end, you have to show us a move that you think is the best anti-aging move. You have to, or what was the one you were saying about the eye earlier?
Oh, for the eye muscles.
Yeah.
It's so simple. So I always say though, when doing face yoga, you should never, like, say if your problem area is your eyes, you shouldn't just do eye exercises the whole time, because it's the same as somebody going to the gym and just like biceps, and then you just like, it's your whole like head, neck and shoulders is a unit, and you, to get like that sort of like really good glow, that good complexion, that like firm, well, like face that works as a unit, you do need to be working it all. So it's so important. I always say to like my clients and to people, if you don't have time to do facial massage, or if you don't have time to do facial exercises, the best thing for you to do is literally just stretch your neck. Like it's the portal for your face. And people don't realise that, like your platysma, for example, is like it inserts like directly here into your skin, and it like it originates here and inserts like here. And when that's tight, and it's tight for everyone, like because we spend so much time on our phones or on our screens, it just gets so much tension and it's like scrunched up. Then like, when is the last time that anybody has really stretched it and like looked up? Like hardly at all. So
I'm like now conscious.
So if there's like one thing that I'd tell people to do every single day, and it will sort of make a difference on their faces as well, is stretch their neck. So I'll show you a quick neck stretch that will really give you a good stretch. So all you do is you put both hands sort of over here where your like clavicle bones are, and you pull down slightly, not too much, you just want like a little bit of resistance there, and then you sort of look up to the ceiling, and then you're just going to blow 20 kisses. And you feel that stretch?
A whole lot of it, even on my collarbone and everything, like I can feel it literally going.
It's a massive stretch, because that muscle just never gets stretched. And
all that tension that you get in your neck and back of your shoulders is all around that, the whole lot of it.
Absolutely, So that's a big one. If you don't have time to do anything else, because I know how busy people are, stretch your neck.
Imagine sitting on the tube and like...
I at first, like, I'd be a bit, like, even when I'm driving, I'm such a weirdo, I'm like, just like... all the time, like, I have no shame now. Like, sometimes even when I'm on the tube, I'm like stretching my face muscles, and people must be like, what is she doing?
And with any of the moves, are you doing the inside ones as well?
So I actually have, I do it on myself, but to be able to give to clients, I've got a 3-day training coming up this month on the 20th actually, which I'm really excited about. Especially because I get such a tense jaw. Gosh, like if I'm stressed, it just locks up straight away. So, and I know that's a problem for lots of people, so it's nice to be able to relieve that tension for them.
Especially when you get tension here, it actually builds up the muscles so that your muscle kind of protrudes.
Absolutely.
When you have all that tension there. So that's going to be interesting. I really want to learn that as well, the intraoral. But that was really interesting, Nella. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been really good, and I'm sure everyone loved the information.
Oh no, it's been an absolute pleasure being on. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks.